Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. We're just having some fun time playing some Eden runs. Just did a daily. Ooh, this is a great start. I'll take Bob's brain. You give me good items right off the bat, I'm content to take some weirdo ones. AQ2E B4CG. It's a give and a take, you know? Rarely, if we look at this run and we go, oh, well, you know, we got 0.6 speed, no damage, and things look tough, and then they go, do you want Bob's brain from your item room? I say to myself, your boy, is me, loves having a fun time. I'm not allergic to fun. I enjoy fun. You know, refactoring my Java assignment in order to be a little bit more, you know, to have separation of responsibilities and concerns be more prudent. Sounds like a good time to me. But still, that's a slap in the face. It's disrespectful. I refuse. Go ahead, make it, yep, let's go. Huge. Bob's brain, enormous helper. Probably should take it no matter what, apparently. Just in case Ragman ends up being your fight on the first floor. But it's much easier to justify being like, you know what, an item that might have some good, some bad, I'm gonna do it on this run. A run where they started me with, you know, a quality spacebar item. No question about that, even though we will probably want to replace it eventually. And, ooh, nothing wrong with that. On top of that, let's not forget about a Tears upgrade, which must have, in my estimation, it probably took us from 11 rate of fire down to 8, so, you know, worthwhile, especially when you consider that 11 rate of fire wouldn't have been super cool when our damage stat is a little bit below average, but, you know, certainly within the realm of reasonability for an Eden run, where you can get super screwed if things go wrong. And goodbye, Krampus's head. We will be leaving. And we're set. I'm not going to get an arcade on the next floor, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm still reeling. Like, I hope yesterday's daily went up. I mean, it obviously went up, but did it go up in a recent time frame? The likes of which that we could reference it without it having lapsed out of the collective public knowledge? Certainly hope so. I'm still reeling from getting an incredibly unexpected ranking, like a very, very, very good ranking, on a run where we were not able to do boss rush for one, but then simultaneously, beyond not being able to do boss rush, ended up like just barely being able to fight Mega Satan, which was guaranteed on the run unless you did what we did and were unable to guarantee yourself access to the lamb floor regardless because of stupid teleporting into error rooms. So I think we got real lucky, but also just reminds you, dude, there's Zane to be had on dailies. Anyway, I'm excited, dude. It's a Sunday. Sundays are Hitman 2 days. I know I've been talking about Hitman 2 a lot. It's the only thing that keeps me from talking about it more is some antiquated, derelict sense of journalistic integrity, to be honest, where I'm like, I can't describe this as game of the year when I've played 15 hours but merely played one level. Or one level and then another level for like 15 minutes floundering. But dude, I'm so excited. Hitman 2, like my weeks have become Hitman 2 related now. On Sunday, which is today, we're gonna do the Hitman 2 stream. And then later tonight, I'm gonna be playing Hitman 2 Ghost Mode with Mathis. Mathis, it would be hypocritical of me. Like, we're gonna be doing it on YouTube, so those videos will probably have gone up by the time, or they will be going up soon at least by the time you watch this video. I'm not mad at Mathis, because, you know, we've done many tournaments of shame. In said tournaments, I have one advantage over my competitors, and that's that I practice. And I practice because I have pride. If there's a sin that I have, I think I've used this exact line before, but I like it, and it's not a joke. If there's a sin that I have, it is gluttony. But if there's two sins that I have, the second one is probably pride. So, what I do, and, you know, pride gets a bad rap, dude. What I do is my pride motivates me to practice. And that's why I think if you go back and you look at Tournaments of Shame, to the best of my knowledge, I've only not made the finals in one of them. One that we dare not speak his name. Blade Ballet. Is there still... No, that's our spider. I've made the finals of all of them. Except for that one. I've won Probably the most. I'm trying to think now. Goofball goals, For Honor, baseball for sure. Not Austin won golf. And Austin, I mean, these are informal kind of tournaments, but still, this is what Pride will do, dude. You know who said Pride will mess with you? That's just Pride messing with you. He didn't say it under so uncertain terms. That's Ving Rhames as a villainous man in Pulp Fiction. If a villainous man says something, do the opposite. Austin has also won 2 Tournaments of Shame, which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure he's participated in 2 Tournaments of Shame. I'm not trying to say I'm the best gamer of all time. What I'm trying to say is that with a little bit of practice, you can accomplish a lot when your competitors don't practice at all. Okay, your boy's thinking. I want to take all 3. Here's how we do that. This is a great deal with the devil, by the way. This, and then this. I believe that was the right setup there. And all of a sudden, things are popping off ridiculously. Anyway, where was I going with this? So yeah, I'm not going to besmirch Mathis for practicing, but when we were talking about Hitman 2 Ghost Mode, oh, I can't even get anywhere. That's fine. We got such amazing items. Wait, what are we supposed to do? We can't manifest the key out of nothing. Well, in theory, we possibly could here. But we're like, let's do Ghost Mode. I didn't realize that Mathis was a stealth gaming master. You know, when I play Hitman, and he keeps doing something that, you know, I'll tell you, it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, but I'll get into that in a second. I didn't realize he was a stealth video gaming master. When I play Hitman, I have a plan, and then I'm getting better at it, but it's taken a while. When things go wrong, you know, I put on a cool disguise, then things go wrong, and I just start blasting people. That's typically how it goes. And that's not the way that game is necessarily meant to be played, but it's a fun way to play it nonetheless, as is the stealthy way, which I've been trying to get better at. Mathis, day 1, he's like, oh, by the way, I got Silent Assassin on the map that Ghost Mode is on. I've never even sniffed at Silent Assassin as a rating in my entire life. I'm not mad that he's practicing, but I am mad that he's gonna body me. I'll put on a good face. I'll be funny, haha. But simultaneously, I'm like, dude, why you're gonna blow me out here? This is like if the match took place between Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, but Phil Mickelson was like, by the way, this is my home course. I practiced on it for like, you know, 3,000 hours. And Tiger was like, well, dude, I thought we had like a gentleman's agreement. This was just sort of like, it was mostly for entertainment value. It wasn't like necessarily going to be the sort of thing where, you know, one person was going to be made to be embarrassed. Hold on. Grab this. Dude, I'm sticking 100% with the flies. I love them. I'm like, how do we get there? My brain is broken. It's looking at it like, what a puzzle. I didn't realize we were playing The Witness. Let's see what we got here real quick. The only thing that I would begrudge Mathis for is that he keeps, in our Discord, he's like, oh my god, I was 5 seconds away from getting the highest possible ranking on this mission, while also never being spotted, and none of my, like, casualties were discovered. And then in the next breath, he'll go, I still think you have an advantage in Ghost Mode, though, because you're more improvisational than I am. That's just, you can't have your cake and eat it, too. And this is, I think some people struggle with it. Is why in a tournament of shame, I'm always happy to play the heel. If practicing gives you an advantage and it makes people resent you, you gotta lean into that and be like, yeah, I am the villain. You can't be the dude who puts in the... It's like being the keener, as a Canadianism, but you can probably figure out for yourself what it means. You know, being a bookworm, a teacher's pet, for example. And then when the final exam comes up, you know, you've got a 95% in the class, and you study for 40 hours, even though it's only worth 5% of your mark, and your friend who, like, missed half of the classes is freaking out, and you're like, well, yeah, I mean, like, I think it's gonna be pretty tough, but, you know, you'll probably beat me. You're smarter than me anyway. Just shut up, okay? You know, just own the fact that you can't have the social benefit both ways. Both ways, I should say, okay? You can't be the person who is gonna blow out the curve and simultaneously be like, hey, well, that was a hard exam, right, guys? You know, you just gotta own the fact that you're destroying the curve, and that's okay. I've been destroyed by the curve, and I have destroyed the curve. It cuts both ways. I would rather be the person destroying the curve. I would rather be in Mathis's shoes, which is why I'm just saying I understand where he's coming from. But you can't be like, I put in the work and then be like, hey, dude who's gotten a two-star score as his highest rank ever in Hitman, you'll probably beat me. Now I will say, if I'm gonna beat him, I might beat him in the first match, because he's never played Ghost Mode. So I might have a little bit of an advantage knowing the specific parameters there, and I'm gonna milk it as long as it lasts. After which point, I'm gonna just get bodied over and over. Regardless, though. That's my Sunday. I'm excited. It's always fun to play stuff with Mathis. I like playing games with Mathis. He's reliable. That's not meant to be like a subtweet towards anybody else, but, you know, Mathis is like, what's the word I'm looking for? To make another Pulp Fiction reference, he's kind of like, the wolf. You know, well, it's not really a good metaphor, but I'm going to do it anyway. You know, the wolf, you call him when you accidentally make a mess in your car out of Phil Lamar, right? You can go look up the casting for that if you've seen the movie. You can spoil it for yourself. But, yes, the same Phil Lamar that was an acclaimed video game voice actor. Anyway, also Mad TV actor, weirdly enough. You call him when you got some time, and you say, hey, I need this job done. And he just says, where do you need me? What do you need me to download? And what time do you want me to be there? He's always there. Every other YouTuber, myself included, we have, like, our 3 favorite words. Sorry, I'm late. Don't even, you know, in the normal adult working world, there's usually, like, an excuse thrown in there. Sorry, I'm late. My kid was sick. Traffic, you know, blah, blah, blah. As a YouTuber, it's genuinely just, sorry, I'm late. Why are you late? I didn't want to be here. I think my time is more valuable than your time, is implicitly what I'm saying by my lateness. I try not to be. I'm a punctual person in meat space. Online, it varies. But, I genuinely do my best. Most of the time I'm late for a show, it's because something like, I'm late by 5 minutes because an Isaac episode went 3 times longer than it does on average. Now, you know, that's wont to happen in some circumstances, for sure. It's on me. But it's tough to predict, you know, because here's the thing. You might say you should have an hour window. Or maybe if you wanted to be super safe, but unproductive, you should have a 90-minute window for each Isaac episode, just in case you get into that 1 in 100 situation where there's a train wreck run, right? Okay, what if you have, it's an hour and a half to go until the NLSS, all right? I give myself a 90-minute window for an Isaac episode. It takes half an hour. Now I got an hour. You're telling me I can't do an Isaac episode? In the 60-minute window? I would never get anything done. You know, my whole workflow relies on, you know, being able to take advantage of those little time gaps here in order to create, you know, the kind of content and the frequency of that content that I like. So I think the occasional 5-minute delay is pretty hard to get around there. You know, this isn't a Tokyo train station where we just put a floppy disk in at the central headquarters and then all the trains just go, you know? They actually have real drivers as well. It's the SkyTrain in Vancouver that apparently it runs off of floppy disks. And that's the kind of thing that when you tell people, they go, whoa, that seems bad. And then I try to explain, like, not that I am any more in the knowledge of this than anything else, but I'm like, I mean, it's just data. You know, we could send a man to the moon. Man on the moon, yeah. Okay, I can't. Sorry, Michael. Michael Stipe. Not Michael Mathis. We can put a man on the moon with a stack of punch cards. You know, you can run some trains on a track that only goes in one direction with some floppy disks. You don't need more than 16 megabytes of data in order to send it. Dude, absolutely, I will be taking Mom's Knife. I will also be taking Goat Head. And then I will definitely be very, very afraid temporarily. Just because walking on spikes, or alternatively, just the one bad Bob's brain put us in a touchy spot. But long term, you really expect this to be great for us. I mean, it already is great. So we really gotta get rid of Bob's brain. I walked on creep, probably. With golden bombs, we should also... Nice shot. Probably take a look... help. Probably take a look at blowing up some skulls. Taking Mom's knife did put us in the danger zone there, but... I like being in the danger zone. Keeps you fresh. I don't remember where I was going with this. You can also rely on Mathis to say the F word in some videos. That's another reason he's all-reliable. And then apologize for it later, but still get your video demonetized. I don't begrudge him. If I was gonna begrudge him, I would not record with them. You know, the juice is worth the squeeze. And sometimes an F-bomb sneaks by the Google DeepMind language filter. And, you know, I hope that when you're watching that, you go, ooh, I'm getting like a little illicit treat. It's like, Mom left the cookie jar out. I get to have a couple of cookies. Wouldn't have normally had access to. I hope you don't say it like that, though, because that would be weird. Alright, HP, by the way, completely fine now. Still want to... Oh, really fine now. Still want to get rid of Bobby's brain.
Lemon party.
But unlikely to happen. Moreover... I think we'll still be fine, one way or the other. Did we... We must have gone this way. Yeah, okay. Life's good. It is, dude. I'm excited. I know I've been talking a lot about school recently. It's because these videos, you know, Isaac is a tofu. Is a good way to describe it. Or a broth. Is a soup, you know? It takes the flavor of whatever is around it, you know? And right now... I'm stressed out about my scholastic experience, but I'm also losing my mind, like in a positive way, because I crunch the numbers, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to do okay in this class, provided I don't completely screw up the final exam. And that means that pretty soon I'm never going to have to do Java again, unless in some cruel twist of fate, you know, 10 years from now I end up being a Java engineer or something like that, which, you know, there's worse fates. But... that would be, I mean, I would rather not, if possible, but hey. I'm just saying, I hope this doesn't end up being an ironic... You know, it comes up at a job interview when I'm interviewing at Oracle. They wouldn't hire me anyway, I'm way too pro Microsoft. Anyway, I'm excited, like I was saying. Pretty soon, dude, I'm like... over the moon, really. Off the planet! Isn't he gonna freeze himself? I'm looking at this open academic course calendar and I'm, you know, singing a song from a Disney musical being like, you know, will I take discrete math or will I take linear algebra or set theory, algorithm design? Mobile development with Android Studio, absolutely not, because that's a Java course. I'm not gonna belabor the point over and over, I'm just saying. I'm excited. I'm in that summer vacation, well, winter vacation mindset. I've vowed to get revenge on my professor for his, second, he considers him, he's like me, and I say that with no hint of irony. He tells jokes all the time in class, and they're bad, just like my jokes are. And he always tells the same ones. He'll put something like a ridiculous graph on the board or like a flow chart, and he'll be like, so for the final exam, I expect you to reproduce this as it looks right there on the board. And then he laughs. And then he goes, why would I do that? I'd have to mark it. I've heard that joke like 9 times over the course of this semester. I've resolved. At first, you know, I'm like, I'm not a monster. I see where he's going with the joke, and I go, haha, you know. I'll give him a little courtesy chuckle. And then, you know, a couple of other students will give him a courtesy chuckle as well. Ever since assignment 2, nothing. Why would I do that? I'd have to mark it. He laughs, I just look at him, stone-faced. You're gonna have to do better than that, I'm sorry to tell you. You put me through misery. Needless misery. I did learn something, which is the whole point of the exercise to begin with, but that's besides my point right now, okay? Put me through misery, and then he expects to make up for it with the reused working hard or hardly working sort of joke. Look, I don't think this professor is a bad person. This strikes me as an affable gentleman. But, you know, if you're gonna give out these nightmare assignments and you're gonna tell some jokes, they gotta be good. If my assignments have gotta be 10 out of 10, no thank you. If my assignments have gotta be 10 out of 10 to get an 8, your jokes have gotta be 10 out of 10 to get a laugh. I don't think that this will do anything, but there's no reason not to at least take it. It's your eyes like a big pizza pie, that's the boss rush. So that's my act of, like, quiet rebellion right now. I almost, I hit him with a question that was about to make him angry during our last exam, or during the lecture where he was prepping for the last exam. As I mentioned, you know, a couple videos ago, I recognize, by the way, the stress I'm under specifically with regards to academics is making me seem like a little bit of a jerk, a little bit petty. It's just, you know, when people are under duress, I guess their true colors come out, and I'm just kind of a d-hole about this right now. But he was like, okay, so you got like the multiple choice portion of the exam. And he, you know, belabored the point where it's like, you'll have 4 options for every single question. Choose the option that you think best describes the answer that you would interpret for the question. And I'm like, yeah, we know. And then he started giving me tips that, you know, as a former teacher myself, I don't actually, and a long-time student, I don't necessarily believe. He said, and I think it's actually a little dangerous. He was saying, you know, whenever you pick an answer, when you go back through and read the exam, be very hesitant to change your first instincts because they're usually right. And I was like, dude, I do decently for myself. When I read back through my answers to a multiple choice test, I change like 1 in 8. I go, I read the question wrong. I realize now that I chose the answer that was designed to be a trick. Like, I picked J menu item when it's actually J menu. You get the idea. Or maybe you don't, but you understand the concept of the bit here. Why are you telling people not to change their answer? I think you should just tell people when you read it through, you know, look closely. Maybe some people have better first instincts than others, but there's no magic bullet. You just got to know the material to begin with. Anyway, then he's like, okay, in the programming side, it's out of 15 marks. So you got 3 choices. You could do 3 5-mark programming exercises. You could do 1 10-mark programming exercise and a 5-mark programming exercise. Or you can do 1 15-mark programming exercise. That's obviously going to get, you know, the more marks it's worth, the more time it's going to take, the more difficult it's going to be. But, you know, if you know it cold, why not just do the 15-mark one, right? And I was like, what about 15 1-mark programming assignments? And in my head, I was like, I'm gonna get them. You're gonna give me this arbitrary amount of choice. I'm gonna get you. And then I said, no, let's just get out of the class earlier. Contrary to what you might think, I don't actually hate my teacher. You know, as a human being, I think he's a good guy. I'm just annoyed by one specific assignment and holding a grudge. Regardless, we talked too long about something too meaningless. I'm happy. I'm trying to think, is it gonna be December by the time this video goes up? Nah, not quite. It'll be close though. I'll probably be 30 by the time this video goes up, which is pretty wild. When I was at, you know, our Thanksgiving dinner yesterday, my brother-in-law, and here's the thing, my brother-in-law doesn't know how old I am. That's fine. I don't know how old he is. I got a rough window. I think he's in his late 30s. Yo, we haven't had Mega yet. He's probably got a rough window. He thinks I'm late 20s, early 30s. He was like, you know, he was talking to Kate, and he's like, you know, you'll see, once you become 30, like, the years don't go by fast. They go by, like, turbo fast. And then Kate was like, I hope not, because Ryan's 30th birthday is this Wednesday. And then he went, well, you know, for you guys, it might be, you tried to walk it back to not scare me. He was like, for you guys, it might be different, you know, because you didn't have kids and all that. And I was like, dude, the years are already whipping by. Like, there's a Modest Mouse lyric that's about depression. Reminds me of a great lyric about depression. But I don't think it's just true, you know, if you're depressed. I think it's just true in general. I think he discovered a universal truth. General Isaac Brock. He said, the years go fast, but the days go slow. Yo, that's not indicative of being in a bad life, I think. I think that's just, you know, when you look back, that ends up being the case for most of us. I mean, you know, think back to the year 1996, if you were even alive back then, you know? What do you remember from 1996? Probably very little. Seems like it went by pretty fast, right? Oh, let's go. For me, I remember like 2 things from 1996. That year seems like it went by pretty fast, but when I lived it, there were 365 relatively slow days as I worked my way through 3rd grade? Something along those lines. I just think that's a universal truth, man. Time's already flying by. And much has been said about it. I think he wasn't the first person to say it, but, you know, Rob was like, it makes sense. When you're a kid, like, you know, well, I was even talking to my brother-in-law about it. I was like, man, your kids have grown up so fast. And he's like, well, you know, at that age, 1 year makes a huge difference. I was like, you're telling me, now that I think about it, you know, your 4-year-old hasn't seen me in like a quarter of her life. What's changed in her life since the last time I saw her? I don't know, like, I don't even know what happens to kids at that age. Does she have teeth yet? Can she read? Maybe? Is she in kindergarten? Do they use the toilet without supervision? I don't understand, like, I don't know the steps yet for you know, a human toddler, okay? What's changed for me? You know, I'm trying to eat less meat, sorta. I'm not gonna be a stickler about it at Thanksgiving, but did you read the climate change report? I laugh so I don't cry. Anyway, yeah, so, you know, I mean, a year when you're very young, you know, is hugely significant. Even when you're like 16 or 15, let's say, because that's a little bit easier to grasp, I think, because of the whole driving thing. You know, when you're the difference between a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old when it comes to, like, maturity, it can be huge. At least the difference between, like, me at 15 versus me at 16. You know, you go from being, like, a teenager to I'm driving a half-ton chunk of metal that could murder somebody pretty easily. You know, now you go from 29 to 30. I'm not going to say I don't find it significant. It's more just, like, you know, you can understand why milestones are a little different. You might think that because of all this talking about, you know, me turning 30, I'm weird about it. I'm not at all. I mean, I was telling Kate, like, internally, like, my inner self, I don't even think is 30. I think it's, like, 60. So why would I be mad about turning 30? I'm only halfway to my mental age. And that's what I tell her, because sometimes she's like, you know, what if, you know, in 10 years you have a midlife crisis? And I'm like, I can't say that I won't, but I don't think a midlife crisis, first off, it doesn't happen at 30 for most people, I think, but I don't think a midlife crisis is something that happens to every man. Like, well, let's just see what we get here first. Oh, no! Tiny Planet Mom's Knife, that's terrible. No. We need to keep Mega, because we need something that does damage now. Tiny Planet Mega is pretty cool. And, you know, Magic Mush, also awesome. But please take less time to animate your own deaths. Emperor? Shouldn't have done that. Oh, no. This is a problem. Thank God for 9 lives. Because I don't know how we're going to shoot this, dude. Hierophant. Very nice. Not going to use it yet, because I'm afraid. You might think, why not use it right now to preserve your 2-life in existence instead of going to a 1-life existence? I don't really see it like that. I see it like, if we pop this on boss, we win. But, you know, I've never been the kind of person who's, like, concerned about my age to begin with. And then beyond that, I don't care at all about, like, public perception of my age. Like, when I look at, you know, like, the classic midlife crisis of, like, a 50-year-old dude buying a sports car, I always think, like, that's probably a guy where, like, when he was 16, he bought a muscle car and, you know, was fixing it up or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I was never that guy. I was the guy who was like, Mom, can I drive your Ford Explorer to school? I don't want to take the bus today. Alright, let's... Oh, because of Tarot Cloth, we're set here. So for now, you know, I don't see myself as much of a midlife crisis sort of guy. But who knows, you know? A midlife crisis on YouTube sounds very scary, though. Like, am I gonna turn into like a Call of Duty or Fortnite montage channel? My life's half over. I gotta get a viral, epic build Minecraft compilation going, or people are gonna start to think my life's been wasted. Doubtful. I don't know. Maybe. What do I know? I know almost everything there is to know about being in your 20s. Nothing at all about being older than that for now. Oh, except I am learning to love sleep, dude. I am way ahead of you on that one. For now. Thanks for watching. Good episode. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Follow me on Twitch to be notified when I go live in the future. Twitch.tv/Northernlion. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!